Do you find yourself setting goals every year only to fall short at some point, just like everybody around you does? Have you set milestones for yourself that you're just not able to hit and it's getting very frustrating? Well, today we're going to give you 5 quick tips plus a great bonus tip that can help you achieve some goals this year and really make some progress in your music career. Let's have a think about that.
Hello and welcome to the podcast, where we are here to strengthen music careers and communities one song at a time. And now here's your host, Jacob Wing. Yay!
Hey everybody, welcome to our episode today and welcome to 2025. Happy New Year to anybody listening, to everybody watching. Thank you so much. Just take a quick second here to welcome everybody that's been here before. Thank you so much for all the likes, the follows, the subscribes. They all mean so much to us. If you're new here, or if you've been a couple times and you haven't joined the community yet, please take a second, give us a subscribe. That really helps. You'll get more content from us, and you can even throw suggestions our way. We'll make videos that might help you out in the future. Again, if this helps you out in any way, give us a like. All those things help the algorithm, help get the word out. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. But let's get right into it. Start of another year. If you're lucky enough to make it to another year, congratulations. And hopefully your last year was productive and you got some great things out of it. You grew a bit. Maybe you took on some things that you didn't know you could, or you even overcame some obstacles you didn't see coming, but you grew from it. That's a sign of a great year, and I hope that's what happened for you. If not, let's make this the year that happens for you as well. Again, moving forward, everybody sets goals. So that's a great thing. And it gets kind of to the point where we're just so used to it. We're just inundated with nonstop commercial and advertisements telling us, all this stuff, set your goals, go to the gym, do this. Let's take advantage of that. But now is always a great time, that restarting, the start of a new cycle, whatever it may be, to take heed of what you've done in the last year, which you should take a little time if you haven't done before we start talking in this video. Maybe just pause it and think about the things, even write them down on a notepad or something, of the things you've accomplished, of the things that you didn't think you could get done last year, but you did, the things maybe that you wanted to get done last year, but didn't happen for, X number of reasons because life happens. But maybe you got close to that goal, or maybe it pushed you in a new direction or gave you an opportunity that wouldn't have been there if you'd been not striving to hit that goal. All those kind of things happen. Take heed of them, take inventory of them, and be very proud of yourself for what you've done. Moving forward, now's that time to set goals for the coming year, for that new cycle. And today we're going to give you 5 quick tips on how to get the most out of that. So even when everybody starts falling off in February, and they are even the next 2 weeks when they've set their goals and they've given up because it was a little bit too hard and they thought they were going to make the changes, but they didn't. You could get through all that and keep pushing forward and see success going into the year and to the end of the year, going into 2026, knock on wood that we all get that far. And let's start doing it. Tip number 1, big one, and it's one that we talk about a lot here. It's start with your vision. So again, if you have that notepad out where you took heed of what you did last year, and like I said, took inventory of what you were able to accomplish and maybe what you weren't able to quite get done, this is that time to start writing out your vision for the next year. And of course, I will say it to anybody that will listen. I know I say it every time. I give it this caveat and I put this asterisk on it every time. It's a little floofy, a little huffy puffy, but making a vision board, making some kind of visual representation of what your goals are for the next year, something to pull up and be able to see, especially if you're a visual learner. That's such a great thing to have. It's such a great tool. I highly recommend making something where you can just reference, here's what I want to get accomplished this year, quickly pull it up, once a week, every other day. Sometimes, every week, so it's a rough week. Here's what I'm trying to get done. And it's just such a great helpful. We do it. I do it for myself. My wife does one as well. We do one for our home. It's made such a huge difference. Maybe it's not for everybody, but it's such a great way. Just having somewhere to put your vision for your year, the things that you want to accomplish, have that somewhere where you can access it. Even if you're just writing it down somewhere where you could pull it up, or on your computer that you use every day for work or for personal use, where you can just pull up that list and take a quick look at it of, here's what I want to get done. What do I need to do? What steps do I need to take? All those kind of things. You just have to have a vision. You have to have something to shoot for. This is where you take the time to define what that is, whatever it may be. Step number 2, or we're going to say tip number 2 here. Those goals that you've done, those visions that you've taken on, you want to make them SMART. And this is S.M.A.R.T. It's with all the dots in between. And that stands for, you want to make the goal specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And the whole thought behind this is that, yes, you want to have great goals. You want to have all these things you can do, but you want to have a way to track them and be able to do them. And, just making sure that when you set a goal down, be very specific about what you want. Say, not just saying, for example, I want to get better at guitar. What do you want to get better? Do you want to be able to play scales better? Do you want to be able to play lead for multiple songs or multiple genres? Is there a specific style that you want to tackle? Be very specific about what you want to achieve so that you can be better about, which is the next part, making it measurable and achievable. Because, it's achievable if you've seen other people do it and it's within your wheelhouse to grow that far, not from I'm starting guitar this year to I want to be a top-notch, unstoppable, best guitar player in the world. That's not, very achievable. At this point, it is achievable long-term. But right now I want to be able to play this song or this number of songs by so-and-so, like 10 songs by the end of the year. Those kind of very measurable and achievable goals are what we're talking about. Again, making them relevant is just about making it sure that it's something that you've either started or that's going to be relevant to what you're doing. So if you're trying to grow your career, make your goals around getting better, growing, and getting somewhere new in your career. This is what that's all about, making sure that it's relevant to what you're doing, and it's going to be something that's going to add to what your end goal is. And, you should have a 5-year, 10-year goal. Everybody should, but it should be more towards that. It should be relevant towards that. And time bound might be the most important one in this, in the S.M.A.R.T. part. S.M.A.R.T. Yes, I made a Homer Simpson there. Just having that goal of time set to that, by the end of the year, or, break it down. And that's what we're going to get into tip number 3. And that is to break it down into steps. So whatever that time bound is in that one, we're going to take it and we're going to take whatever goal that is and break it into whatever steps it may be. So again, using a musical reference here, for example, if you had said, I want to put out an EP this year, that's great, but you need to also break that down into steps because it's going to take multiple things to get this done, right? So having the time-bound things to those is what really sets you apart and helps guide you through and get to that end goal. And, even more so, not just be overwhelmed of, I want an EP this year, and at some point, if it happens, it happens. At first you got to write the songs and you have to have the ideas for the songs. You got to get the lyrics done. You've got to get the music done. You have to record it. Are you going to do it at home? Are you going to use a studio? Are you going to use a hybrid of the two? Are you going to collaborate with other musicians? Or do you have a band? All those things. When does it have to be recorded by? When do you want to have the mixing and mastering done by? When do you have to have all the artwork done? And we can link to something here too. Of course, we have an entire roadmap for putting out your EP that, just using this example, you can follow, but it breaks down into steps. That's exactly what you need to be doing with every single step. Again, let's harken back to the last one we used of get better at guitar. Using this one, it's always a great one to use, just because, whatever instrument or whatever you get, you always want to get a little bit better, but just break it down into steps. Like, you were very specific with what you want to do, break that down into steps. Like saying, I want to do 10 songs this year. I want to learn 10 new songs as a guitarist, and then, break down of, how many songs per month, or, all those things. How many do I need to do per week? What do I need to do every day to make this happen? Those kind of things. Break it down into time chunks, break it down into specific steps for every one of them. And it's going to be so much easier to achieve that S.M.A.R.T., that SMART goals thing that we were talking about earlier. Number 4, This one's a huge one. And this is why I really wanted to talk about these goals today, is there's so many people that, again, fail in that first couple of weeks, that first month, and by February, everything's done and gone. But it was tip number 4 here is focus on the process of the goals, not the outcome. And that's why I don't emphasize somebody having like a checklist of things to get done. You know, at the end of the day, it feels good to check those things, but then when you don't, it really just demotivates you, takes away what you want to get done. It's not so much about, in the end, achieving these exact goals. It's not about hitting the mark every time. Sometimes it is that journey that takes you to that spot and gets you there. It's so much more about the process every day. What are you doing? Do you have something in mind? Are you doing something every day mindfully to grow and get better and become something new and something you weren't the day before, something you weren't the month before, the year before? That's where the big wins come. And you just focus on the fact that you're doing it, not so much that you're not achieving the goal. Like if you set that goal of, I needed to play this many shows this year, or I needed to play to this many people. I want to have a big show this year, but this many fans there, or I wanted to grow my fan base by this many numbers on my social media. It's not so much that you didn't hit those exact numbers, but you followed the process and you grew a bit, and you took things in a new direction. You learned things that you didn't know before. You got better at things. You grew skills that you didn't have in your tool bag before, all those kind of things. It's the process, not the outcome. You've got to remember that. Number 5, the last one we have for you today, is reflect and adjust regularly. And that's just set a time for yourself to stop in the year, be it either monthly. I suggest quarterly. That's what me and my wife like to set dates, and this works really well for us. Again, do what works best for you, your partner, your significant other, whoever's involved in your life. But set a date where you can sit down and say, hey, what did we achieve? What didn't we achieve? What's going right? What's not going so great that we can adjust? And just reassess and keep updating of, hey, yeah, we got this part done. That's great. It's exactly what we wanted to do. Hey, this one's not looking so realistic. Maybe we don't have the money to do this. Maybe we don't have the resources. Let's move this on to either the further year. Maybe that's something we tackle next year. Oh, hey, this thing came up. Let's put this at the top of the list because it's become a priority. You can readjust everything, and that's totally fine. Just shifting through the year. You're never going to be this person because you said, I want to get here, and this is what I want to be. It's never that. It's always the journey that gets you there. But having the mindset to have a path is what leads you in a great direction. So that's the top 5 tips. How about a bonus tip today? I threw this one at the very end just for a little bonus. And this was every year, what I like to do, and I highly suggest, is you should have a shoot for the stars goal. And this is just have that one goal at the end of the day that this is exactly what you want to be. I want to be the best vocalist that ever was. I want to be the best vocalist in my state. I want to be the best showman I've ever known or seen around me. Have that one thing that it seems impossible. It could be even number-based. I want to have 10,000 followers by the end of the year, something that almost seems impossible. But as you set, like everything else, you set that goal, it seems almost impossible. And then you take the exact same steps where you're making it specific and you're trying to break it down into parts. And as you're doing it, as you're going through that process, you're seeing how to achieve it, what the different ways to get there. It changes your mindset and how you approach things. It changes everything, really. And you should be shooting for, you should have one thing where you're trying to get that done. I highly recommend it. And you may never get there, but again, shoot for the stars, you may hit the moon is the whole idea. You never know what's going to come from it. You may even get there. You may find a whole new direction you want to go and become some kind of, a whole metamorphosis from a caterpillar to a butterfly, become something completely new you didn't know existed. So just a bonus tip. That's the tips I'm throwing out today. Again, thank you guys so much. If any of this stuff helps you, give us a subscribe, give us a like. All those things really help. Really want to thank you guys for suffering through this. Obviously, my voice is just destroyed, just like a lot of people around us. We got completely just decimated by the sicknesses around here. And then, of course, we got dumped on with snow in the Northwest here. So I busted out my Hawaiian shirt for a little pick-me-up. So I really enjoyed having you guys today. I hope those tips helped. And again, we'll see you on that next one. Bye.